Hi, I'm Doug.
I'm Tammy.
And together we make
Everyday
Getaways. And it's Tuesday already. I can't believe it.
Yep.
Time flies.
Yes, it does. And today we are getting in the kitchen and we're actually baking today. Not just making something, we're baking from scratch baking.
Hey, I don't know how long this is going to take and if it's going to work out, but hey, let's give it a try.
There we go. We're making homemade cinnamon rolls, but these are banana bread cinnamon rolls.
Oh, bananas.
Yes.
That sounds good.
Yeah, let's give it a try. We'll see how they turn out. Since there's quite a few ingredients, we're just going to go a little bit by a little bit. So just for the dough, these are the ingredients that you'll need to make the banana bread cinnamon rolls. We need a cup of warm milk. We warmed it in the microwave. You need 1 pack of yeast, and this dry yeast is from Great Value, but any brand, it's 2 1/4 teaspoons. A half a cup of granulated sugar. We've got a half a cup of melted unsalted butter, and we have ours on the stove that's melted, but just to show you, 2 large eggs, a teaspoon of salt, 4 cups of all-purpose flour, and a cup of mashed bananas. So I think we got it all together. We'll start putting that dough together.
Okay, so I'm going to start off by doing my yeast mixture in a bowl, and I'm going to mix it together, and then I'm going to let it set for about 5 minutes or until it starts to become foamy. So I'm going to put my warm milk in, and I'm going to add my sugar to this, and then I'm going to put my yeast in. And I'm just going to mix it together a little bit, and then I'm going to let it, like I said, I'm going to set it to the side for about 5 minutes, and it'll be nice and foamy.
All right, so we're going to go in with the melted cup of butter. It's unsalted butter. We're going to add to that 2 eggs, a teaspoon of salt, and all the mashed nanners. All right, nanner. And we're just going to stir that up a little bit, and then our yeast mixture will go into this. Oh, let's get that mixed just a tad.
Okay, so I'm going to put in my yeast mixture that I put together. And then I'm going to mix this together a little bit, and then I'm going to start to slowly add in my flour. Okay, so now I've got that mixing together, so I'm going to add my flour nice and slowly.
And once Doug gets all that in, we're going to hopefully see a dough form into a ball. Once we get it into that dough ball, then we're going to do some kneading. One day we were working on some recipe and we forgot to use this to add the flour, and we ended up with flour everywhere. That was not fun. So our dough's coming together. All right, it's time to switch the attachment. We took off the paddle. We're going to put on the dough hook, and we're going to let it knead for about 10 minutes. If I can get the end on, you can tell it's been a while. There we go. And you could certainly put this on a greased surface and do the kneading process by hand, but since we have the hook, we're going to give it a go here.
Okay, so I greased my bowl here, and I'm going to stick my dough in there, and I'm going to let it sit for about an hour. I'm going to cover it and put it in someplace warm.
And we just greased the bowl with like a nonstick spray, hoping this yeasty dough does its thing and rises.
And if you like bananas, I think you're really going to like this because it really has a strong smell to it.
Yes, it does. It smells good. Once we add that cinnamon and then some cream cheese icing, I think it sounds like a winner. All right. Do you think it'll double in size?
I think it's going to double in size.
All right, fingers crossed here. So Doug's gonna get that puppy covered up. Boom. And we're gonna go in to the microwave for about an hour just to let it sit. All right, it's time for the filling. I have a stick of softened butter. We're gonna add to that 1 cup of brown sugar. Love some brown sugar. And 2 tablespoons of cinnamon. And I love some cinnamon also. Also for the filling, you can add walnuts or pecans. We are not adding those today because some of the folks who are in our family who are gonna be eating this don't like nuts. So we're gonna go with just the cinnamon, sugar, and butter. And gonna get that mixed well, and we'll start putting together the dough and the filling together. All right, I've got the dough, which was risen pretty well. We're gonna work on the countertop here, I think. And we are gonna try to get this rolled out to a rectangle that is 15 inches by 20 inches. I'm gonna try to roll lightly because I don't want to get rid of some of the fluff. So once we get a basic rectangle shape, I'll start measuring here and see what we have to do to get that 15 by 20.
Okay, I think we're getting a nice little rectangle here.
I'll do a little bit more work
And
on
again, it was 14 by 20.
And we measured it, so I think we're pretty good. The extra, we're just kind of pressing back in. I think we're about ready to try some filling.
And while she's working on this, if you take a couple of minutes and hit that like button and do all those YouTube things, share this video out. And again, thank you for everyone that has subscribed. If you haven't already, please take a second and subscribe for us. It really does help us out. Okay, now it's time to put the good stuff in. So I'm going to take the cinnamon stuff, I'm going to spread it throughout. See if we can get a nice layer of it in here.
While he's working on that, I will say we had to work a little bit with this dough because it's sticking, so use lots of flour on your floured surface. I think that will help out. When we spread, we're supposed to spread long side to long side, so we might have to make some more cinnamon stuff here. We'll see. We'll get it spread out and see what we can do. Doug's still working on the filling, but we did not have to add it or make any extra. If you choose to use either the walnuts or pecans, you would sprinkle those on top of this filling. And once he gets this all finished, we'll start trying to roll it up. All right, I am going to spray all the sides of a baking dish. And once we get these filled and cut, we'll start placing them in. And then they have to rise or set for another 30 minutes before we start baking. We left a little edging around it, so hopefully the insides won't come oozing out of the dough. Dun, dun, dun. We'll see if we can do this. We're gonna roll long side to long side. So I'm just gonna start with a tight roll and just treat it very gingerly, very gently to try to keep everything rolling at the same pace. If it gets stuck, I am just using a knife there to get it going again. And we have to add a little extra flour here and there. All right, it's a big old roll of dough. I don't know if you are a Hallmark Christmas movie watcher, but if you are, there's always a scene where somebody's baking cookies and it becomes a flour fight. We didn't actually have a flour fight, but it does look like we did. Anyway, there's flour everywhere. But we've got our dough rolled out. I kind of pre-marked. We're supposed to cut it into 12 sections. So I started with a half and then just got the 6 on each side. So we're going to slice them and go into our pre-greased pan. Then they are going to set covered and let them rise again for another half hour. Now this does not look like a perfect circle, so these might be wonky in shape, but that's all right. I will say also this has been a lot of work, but it's been fun work. What do you think, Doug?
Yes, more work than what we usually do on Tuesdays, but
hopefully they will be
still,
good.
it was pretty easy.
And they smell yummy, so if they are as good as what they smell, I think I'll have to replace them a little bit. But we can space them out here in a second. But they still smell very banana-y and also homemade yeast rolly. All right, so I'm just gonna give them a little space here. Make them a little more round as I'm doing that.
And then we'll cover them for 30 minutes.
All right, we'll see what happens. They're looking good and they're smelling good. They've been sitting for about 30 minutes. We have the oven preheated to 350 and we're gonna place these in for about 25 minutes and we'll check them to make sure they're done. And once they're cooled, we'll add some yummy cream cheese frosting. Last set of ingredients for the frosting or icing. We need 3 cups of powdered sugar, 1 stick of butter, 1 8-ounce cream cheese, and a tablespoon of vanilla.
Okay, so for my icing, I'm going to start off with my butter. And I'm going to stick my cream cheese in there with it. I softened it a little bit. And then I'm going to put my powdered sugar in. And my vanilla.
And that's a tablespoon of vanilla.
And then I'm going to mix it all together.
Boom.
Okay, I think they look pretty good.
All right, we're gonna go on with some of this frosting, and we actually doubled the frosting part so we'd have plenty. I think we're gonna reserve a little bit of it to see once we start eating them if somebody wants to add a little extra. But this will give us plenty to top everybody here, and then have a little left for dipping.
And we are doing this while they're warm, not hot, but warm. Okay, that didn't take that long. Yeah, total, what do you think?
2 hours, beginning to
About
end.
2 hours, yeah, but they're homemade from scratch.
And it was fun.
Hey, it's well worth it.
It was fun. Take a
And
look.
it looks really good.
Yeah.
And it smells really good.
Yes, it does.
I think if you like bananas, you'll really love these. But I don't think there's a whole lot of banana in it, so that if it's not your favorite thing, you still like them.
Yeah, it's just a hint of banana with cinnamon roll background.
Yep.
So, oh, by the way, the cream cheese frosting, we snagged some of that while we were making it, and that's pretty good. All right, there's a bite with everything.
And these are still a little warm.
This is a middle piece, soft on the end. It's got a nice texture on the top. A hint of banana, got that cinnamon in there and that cream cheese frosting.
Yeah, and the banana is not really strong, like I said, but it's really good. And the frosting's really nice because it's not really sweet. Has a strong sweetness to it. So it kind of balances out really well.
Yeah, it does.
Hey, so we got the wedding that's coming up next week. So I think we have a bunch of people coming over to the house. I think that this might be a nice little breakfast treat.
Yes, it is. If we want to get up 2 hours before everybody can get them made.
Well, you can make them the day before, and if you like nuts, you can add a little nuts to it.
There you go. But I think it's yummy. I think we definitely will do that, and maybe for a wedding treat for the breakfast, it's good.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite, I think, so far.
Yeah, it is delicious. All right. Let us know if you try it, what you think of it. Take care of yourselves, take care of others, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.